charging an electric car in 1911. Fashion for boldly protruding female breasts in the 1940s. Ancient ruins of an indigenous civilization, Arizona, 1873. Responsibility for their work. Testing a bridge over the Ob River. Engineers and builders stand under the bridge. Russian Empire, 1893. In 1941, Winston Churchill came to a photographer with the intent of demonstrating his resolve and determination to fight Nazism. However, the photographer couldn't achieve the desired effect, so he ripped the cigar from Churchill's mouth, which angered him. In the end, the photograph was successful and became one of the most famous images of Winston Churchill. Racist residents beat and expel black journalist Alex Wilson from their town. Little Rock, Arkansas, 1957. Opium became a weapon of the British against China, causing widespread addiction and a national crisis. This led to the First Opium War, and Britain seized Hong Kong. The fattest man in the world. This is what a freak show poster claimed in 1890. Interestingly, in our time, this is a quite common physique. A settlement of poor people in Central Park, New York, 1932. American soldiers inspect the cremation ovens at the liberated Dachau concentration camp, 1945. Before painkillers were available, doctors would distract patients with loud music. In this 1922 photo, a dentist's assistant is drowning out a patient's groans with a radio. Crowds cheering Adolf Hitler's campaign to unite Austria and Germany, 1938. Louise Bundy, mother of serial killer Ted Bundy, talking on the phone with her son minutes before his execution, 1989. In the psychiatric clinic where I was treated, one man thought he was Napoleon and another San Martin. No one believed me that I was Maradona. Diego Maradona, 1994. Fashionable women with bronze rings on their necks. Fashionable women in eastern Burma do everything to make their necks as long as possible. The Nushu alphabet, invented by women in a province of southern China for communication among themselves, as they were denied access even to primary education. It was used until 1912. The Hunter brothers inspect the engine during their 23-day non-stop flight, 1930. The fall of the 38th U.S. President Gerald Ford from an airplane ramp, Vienna, Austria, 1975. Players from the Toronto Maple Leafs and Chicago Blackhawks search for a lost, expensive contact lens belonging to Jack Evans. Smallpox, the only human disease that was successfully eradicated. Smallpox cannot be treated, and the smallpox vaccine was the first successful vaccine ever invented. This giant sequoia was 2,600 years old when it was felled in the 1890s. Emotions at the funeral of beloved leader Kim Jong-il, 2011. A man hugs his dog who had inhaled carbon monoxide. The photo was taken immediately after a firefighter carried the dog out of the burning house. More than 30,000 German soldiers captured as a result of the Battle of the Falaise Pocket in a camp near the town of Nonon-le-Pin, France. The Black Widow, Bella Sorensen Guinness, a female serial killer who killed for pleasure and greed. She is known to have buried 42 husbands and accumulated more than $250,000. The Black Widow ended her life tragically. Her body was found in a forest. A dog named Pip, sentenced to life imprisonment for killing the governor's cat. USA, 1924. East German officers are afraid to shake hands with a West Berlin resident on the day the Berlin Wall fell, November 10th, 1989. Installing antennas on the Twin Towers, 1979. Later, these antennas would prevent rescue aircraft from landing on the rooftops. An experiment to train students under hypnosis. The students are in a trance and listen to a lesson recording through headphones. Italy, 1963. The photo shows Jean Courtney, the Sausage Queen, USA, 1955. Packed billiard ball sets made from ivory. The billiard craze almost led to the extinction of elephants, as often an entire elephant was killed to make just 5 billiard balls. Robert Wadlow, the tallest man in the world at 8 feet 11 inches, is pictured here in a rare courtroom photo from 1939. Thylacine, the last Tasmanian tiger, 1910s. In 1815, about 50,000 soldiers died at the Battle of Waterloo. Before burying the soldiers, their teeth were pulled to make dentures. Waterloo teeth were in high demand. A Man Among Giant Plants on Maui Island, Hawaii, 1924. Stars of the 90s then and now. Time cannot be stopped. The first same-sex marriage in history. Axel and Eigil Axgill became the first same-sex couple to receive legal recognition and rights. Denmark, 1989. Korean entrepreneurs buy weapons for defending their property during the riot. Los Angeles, USA, 1992. Japan, 13th to 18th century. It was easy to tell if a woman was married or not in Japan for 5 centuries. The family's status was revealed by her smile. Right after marriage, Japanese women began painting their teeth black. People fight for books. Plovdiv, Bulgaria, 1980. Metallica performs a concert at San Quentin Prison, California, 2003. The Institute of Oral Love, 1971. Vin Mariani, a popular 19th century drink, called the favorite wine of celebrities such as Alexander Dumas, Conan Doyle, Robert Stevenson, Jules Verne, and even Queen Victoria. It contained cocaine and was banned in 1915. Alphonse Allais, Battle of Blacks in the Cave, late at night, 1893. The famous photograph, "Thank you, Comrade Stalin, for our happy childhood." In reality, the regime executed her father and her mother died in prison. Relatives wish each other Merry Christmas through the Berlin Wall in 1961. This ordinary family portrait was taken just a few days before the family patriarch, Charlie Lawson, second from the right, would murder his entire family. 3 Jewish men, all of whom survived the Auschwitz concentration camp and were liberated on the same day, reunite 73 years later. Photo from 2019. In 1911, 2 traveling brothers, Lewis and Temple Abernathy, were offered $10,000 if they rode from New York to San Francisco. 2,796 miles in 60 days. According to the contract, Lewis and Temple had to sleep and eat exclusively outdoors. Unfortunately, the brothers didn't win the reward. They arrived in 62 days. Still, It's worth noting. The older one was 11, and the younger one was 7. Adolf Hitler signs a document at the beginning of the war with Poland, 1939. The clock frozen at 8:15 during the bombing of Hiroshima. The slogan of French students in 1968, "Humanity will find true happiness only when the last bureaucrat is hanged with the guts of the last capitalist." Victorious British soldiers of the 137th Staffordshire Brigade of the 46th Division resting after the Battle of St. Canal, northern France, September 29, 1918. Faces of War, 1919. The rabbit invasion in Australia. In 1859, Englishman Thomas Austin released 24 rabbits into the wild to add native touches to the Australian landscape. The Australian climate allowed the voracious animals to breed year-round. By 1926, Australia had an estimated 20 billion rabbits. These unique shots capture Berlin residents trying to save zoo animals amid the thunder of Soviet artillery. Germany, 1945. The famous British Airways Flight 5390. The pilot, having neglected his seatbelt, is halfway out of the cockpit. The cockpit windshield had popped out during the flight. To prevent the pilot from being completely sucked out, a flight attendant had to hold the captain by his legs until landing, 1990. Russian soldiers teaching a captured German to dance, World War I, 1915. 1960s hairstyles on American women. Girls paint glowing numbers on dials with radioactive paint. Many of them would later die from cancer, 1922. The first public striptease, held on Wall Street, scandalized the public. It would soon catch on across the globe. American obscurantism, 1873. John Lennon signing an autograph for his soon-to-be murderer, Mark David Chapman, hours before he was shot. Laszlo Toth, arrested after committing an act of vandalism. He attacked Michelangelo's Pietà, shouting, "I am Jesus Christ. Christ has risen from the dead," and managed to strike it 15 times with a hammer, 1972. Lion tamer and trainer Jack Bonavita with wildcats. Died in 1917 after a polar bear attack. One of the last Tasmanian Aborigines, wiped out by British settlers, 1869. Several members of the Ku Klux Klan prepare to greet the Gay Pride Parade in Chicago, 1986. Marilyn Lovell, wife of Apollo 13 commander, reads front page news, 1970. The American 90th Bombardment Group, Jolly Rogers, 1942. A pipe-smoking endurance contest at Yale University, 1959, USA. Bulldozers demolish illegally built huts by the poor, USA, during the Great Depression. This is a screenshot from the 1970s show The Dating Game. The man circled is serial killer Rodney Alcala. He became the winner of the show, but the woman refused to go on a date with him. Imagine how lucky she was. True love lasts forever. A kiss dating back 6,000 years, discovered during construction work in Iran, 1972. The Ku Klux Klan emerged immediately after the Civil War and the abolition of slavery in the USA. Its members killed ideological opponents at night and dreamed of reviving slavery. Gadget to hide facial expressions while playing poker, 1937. A separate entrance for colored people at a supermarket in Alabama, 1956. A woman's wild reaction to Mardi Gras participants in New Orleans, 1980s. A Croatian soldier saying goodbye to a girl, 1995. It was their last meeting. A photo of the gruesome mask of the maniac Edward Paynell, known as the Beast of Jersey, which he wore before attacking his next victim, 1957. Village wedding, 1913. Incredibly happy faces. All of Mahatma Gandhi's possessions after his death, India, 1948. An experimental jet-powered scooter, 1931. This enthusiast was clearly way ahead of the era of jet fighters and rockets. Jonas Salk declined to patent his polio vaccine in 1955. By doing so, he lost $7 billion, but made the vaccine accessible to children worldwide. Thanks to him, the incidence of polio decreased by 96%. The forced relocation of Native American tribes in the late 19th century, a tragic consequence of U.S. government policy. Riots, 1960, Tokyo. In those years, Japan witnessed mass student group protests. The main demand was the closure of U.S. military bases. Mexicans and Americans playing volleyball over the border fence. Naco, Arizona, 1979. Women prisoners sitting on garbage waiting for food. Musicians play for cows to see if music affects the amount of milk they produce, 1930. Liberated slaves on the deck of the ship HMS Daphne, 1868. Tooth extraction pliers, 1860s. A screw was inserted into the painful tooth to make it easier to grab and extract along with the root. This was done without anesthesia. Ku Klux Klan members relax on a Ferris wheel in Cannon City, Colorado, 1922. Albert Einstein's desk, photographed just hours after his death, 1955. Oil-rich Native American, Oklahoma, USA, 1920. This is the first photograph of the moon, taken in 1840. The graves of a Catholic woman and her Protestant husband, separated by a wall. After death, the community did not allow them to be buried in the same cemetery. Netherlands, 1888. Before the signing of Germany's surrender on May 8, 1945, the head of the German delegation, Field Marshal Keitel, seeing French military personnel among those present at the ceremony, was astonished and asked, "What? Did these also defeat us?" Rich women ignoring a poor woman, illustrating social inequality in the USA, 1943. Jonas Salk demonstrates the first polio vaccine, 1955. Albanians flee to Italy in March 1991. Western Europe learned what a mass influx of refugees was for the first time in many years. At that time, more than 20,000 Albanians unexpectedly arrived at the Italian port of Brindisi. During the filming of Fort Apache, many scenes required specific weather conditions, and director John Ford paid a Navajo medicine man to give him weather forecasts. Several days they were accurate, but one day the medicine man said he couldn't predict anymore. When asked why, he said that an actor had taken his radio receiver. Whether this clip sparked joy, anger, or just a bit of annoyance, I want to hear your thoughts below. Stick around for part 2 coming soon. Please hit like and subscribe to support the channel. See you!